Nicole, Paul Dietrich and Stephen Shork back with me. Paul, you say the market's been overvalued since 2013 when the market went up 26%. But on the other hand, you actually expect to see a pickup in economic growth this year. So why wouldn't the equity market keep rocking?
Well, I think you have to make a distinction between the stock market and the underlying economy. They're two different things. And the stock market is overvalued. At Fairfax Global Market, we're value investors. And every Friday night...
What are you basing the valuation on?
Every Friday night, I do a screen looking at all the stocks available in the U.S. markets for low PEs, high return on equity, high free cash flow, and little or no debt. A year ago, I'd get 100, 150 stocks that would meet my criteria. 3 months ago, I was getting 30. Last Friday, it was 13.
What PE are you using?
Basically, about 12.
Okay, so you're looking for cheap stocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But, you know, we're undervalued. 15 is basically the kind of medium. So there are no undervalued stocks in this market. And in the 26 years that I've been managing money, every time that that's happened, we've seen a correction. The market is set to go for the downside.
Interesting. You know, as far as economic outlook, he's painting a bright picture, but says the stock market won't necessarily go up as a reason for that.
Well, I think so. I do not disagree with Paul to the extent that the stock market has gotten up to this level on a lot of hot air to begin with. And we're also looking at an economy that I know Paul seems to be pretty bullish from a macroeconomic standpoint. I look at it from a job standpoint. I know we keep on talking about better than expected job numbers, but we're also looking at, again, one of the phoniest numbers out there from an economic standpoint. If we really think that unemployment in this country is in the low 6%, there's nowhere to be found.
I was going to say, I don't know who you hear talking about those better than expected jobs numbers, because as far as I'm concerned, the part-time employment rate, the stagnant wage growth, the long-term unemployment rate are still major problems in this country.
Absolutely.
And the real unemployment rate is still looking like double digits.
Absolutely. Also, we look at a rather challenged jobs front and also rising commodity costs. Now, keep in mind, gasoline prices, when you adjust it for inflation, simply are not expensive. But we're also looking at an economy where household income has been on the decline for the past 15 years. So even though from an inflation standpoint, gasoline prices are not high.
You know, I'm gonna keep giving away the secrets of what you guys talk about at the break. It sounds like I may not be listening because I'm here preparing for the next segment, but you had a fascinating conversation about both of your travels and what you do. And you're out there and you're hearing from company heads that they can't find workers for positions that they need to fill. What's the problem there, Paul?
It's skills.
You said
basically.
You were in Minnesota where a guy's trying to hire 3,000 workers and can't find them.
They cannot find them, and I hear this over and over again. You're hearing it in Pittsburgh. I mean, these are cities that need it. The problem is that the skills are not lining up with the jobs that are available.
Go ahead.
But also, we have to also appreciate that a lot of the job growth is in my industry, in the energy industry. So, for instance, we're looking at the Mon Valley, the Pittsburgh diaspora from the steel industry in the 1980s. This is now a job creator because of Marcellus. And now when we go across state lines into Utica, into Ohio, that's also a major driver. I have a client, or had a client, who's a young kid. Grew up in Steubenville, Ohio. Your first job in Steubenville is figuring out how to get out of Steubenville. He actually went to the university, was working for a private equity fund, is now moved back to Steubenville, and has created a trucking company that services the Utica Shale. So we're talking about job growth in the rustiest of the Rust Belt parts of this country.
Just imagine, Stephen and Paul, if we were to see the approval of the Keystone Pipeline, what kind of jobs we'd be talking about in the energy sector. All right. Well, I want to thank both of you, Paul Dietrich and Stephen Shork, for joining me. Great stuff.